Hi everybody and welcome back. This is the second part of the SeeStar mounting video that I did previously. So in this particular section what I want to cover is mounting the SeeStar for Equatorial Mode. And basically what that means is you've got to get the SeeStar orientation such that its rotational axis is parallel to the rotational axis of our Earth. The way we mount the SeeStar is one of few options. You can use a ball head to do it, which is probably one of the most clumsy ways that you might consider. You could use a geared head, which definitely would help, but geared head mounting is an expensive proposition because they don't come cheap. Or you can use what's known as a wedge. And wedges are available through various organizations who make them. The one that I use, and I think I'm most happy to recommend that to you, is made by a company called Move Shoot Move. That's the one that I'm using. There are many others that you can buy from any of the astrophotography stores. High Point Scientific is a very good resource for any such devices. However, mounting the SeeStar onto a wedge directly on a tripod is probably a very unstable and, in my opinion, fairly unsafe because clearly the unit can topple unless you are very careful in aligning and positioning everything perfectly. There are better ways to do it, and let me just show you what the standard mount would be if you were to just use a wedge and the SeeStar mounted on top of the wedge. So here's the tripod with the bowl leveling base, and let's assume that the base is level, and now we take the wedge and we screw the wedge onto the bowl. Since the bowl has been leveled, the wedge is also now basically level. This particular handle can be moved away. That's not an issue, which is an easy thing to do. And now what one will have to do is to take the SeeStar and mount it to So this is basically how you end up mounting it. Now the fact is that if your legs are the way they are right now, it's very easy for this unit, with the slightest of things, it's going to tip over. In fact, if I release my hand here, the unit will tip over. And oh boy, that's not something that you want. You don't want this unit falling on its face. And there is literally, you can prevent it. The way to do it would be to rotate the entire unit such that it is in fact, let me just loosen it some more, and you get the unit lined up so that it is in axis with one of the legs. And yes, you will have some additional support. You can in fact, let me just show you, you can in fact let go and it may stay in place. But it's very easy still to tip this thing over on either side because the center of gravity is way off, and that's really where the problem is. So now we need to mount it such that the center of gravity does not go outside the periphery of the base. So the way to do that is very simple. You basically get the unit off of this mount and you take a 200 millimeter nodal rail, and you take the nodal rail and mount the nodal rail onto your wedge. So now the nodal rail is mounted to your wedge, and it's basically appears to be off kilter. But what it's going to do is you do have to make sure that your Arca-Swiss plate is oriented in the correct direction, which I will do right now, because the mount here is in, let's say, a horizontal plane rather than a vertical plane on the other side. So I just need to rotate this. Get this dovetail rotated. Now it's oriented in the correct direction, and all I need to do is to mount this. And now I have perfect stability, because the center of gravity is along the axis of the center of the tripod. It's going nowhere. It is extremely solid. In fact, just to give you an idea, this is what the mount would look like. So, very simple. All you need is get a 200mm nodal rail with, of course, Arca-Swiss quick release grooves or dovetail, and mount it to your move, shoot, move, or any other wedge. If you use a wedge that has a different mount, then you'll need to find a rail or an adapter that will allow you to use a rail. But about a 200mm rail is perfect for this kind of a mount. Now, once again, I have all of these components listed in the description below with links as to where you can get them. Again, I do get a small commission out of it, but it's at no additional cost to you. So here's how you do an equatorial mount. Now, just as an added bonus, the one thing that I do is once I have it mounted like this, I use my phone and I use an app called Polar Align Pro, which allows me to do a very rough polar alignment while the sun's still out, because I can use the daylight mode, get the unit basically aligned, and then once it's dark, set it up so that I can fine-tune it by using the aligning screws. So that's it, and it's a simple solution. It takes away from all the headaches of trying to balance things around. It doesn't matter how your tripod legs are oriented, because the center of gravity is within the periphery of the outer legs, and the mount is perfectly stable. And I've used this with no problem at all, and I've never had the feeling that I'm going to risk the unit falling. So with that, once again, thank you so much for watching. And if you've enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up. Do like and subscribe. Really appreciate your support. Thanks again. Bye now.